Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wild. Today we are talking about deactivations and reactivations on Uber or UberEats. So with all of the challenges that come to gig workers, one of them is the looming fear of deactivation, and Uber and Uber Eats is no stranger to such a thing. It is probably one of the most stressful things in the world because a lot of the times it's outside of the control of the driver. So with that said, I want to go over everything you must know about Uber and Uber Eats deactivations, the potential of reactivation, what they tell you versus how it actually is, and everything in between. But before we do that, let's go over a quick disclaimer. The content of this video does not contain, is never intended to be legal, business, financial, tax, or health advice of any kind. This video is for entertainment purposes only. It is advised that you conduct your own research and consult with qualified professionals before applying anything you find online. I also want to make two other things clear. One, I have never personally been deactivated or reactivated or heard any personal stories myself. I'm going through what I am hearing from other people. That's first of all. Second of all, everything that I'm going to be going over isn't even just market dependent. It's case by case. So what applies to me and what applies to another person may not apply to you. So with that said, let's get started. Understanding why drivers and delivery people lose account access. We want every experience on the Uber platform to feel safe, respectful, and positive, and we've developed our policies with this in mind. Losing access to a driver or delivery account doesn't happen often. When it does, we know it can be very stressful and frustrating. Okay, so right off the bat, there is a lot of things to be said about this particular subject. Number one, they want it to be respectful, positive, and safe for the customers. They don't care about you. So that's just a front to begin with. And they develop their policies in such a way to where they're legally protected. Not so much that they care about you, or even for a lot of the cases, they don't really care about the customer. They care about not getting sued. As sad as it is to say it like that. Our case review processes, human-led. While data and technology are useful tools for improving the safety of the Uber platform, people will always play a role in helping to ensure that drivers and delivery people are treated fairly and their accounts aren't affected by fraudulent reports. So while you may get account notices that are a little bit more automated, the overall cutoff would be human-led according to them. But in reality, that's not necessarily the case either. There's going to be a point in time where you get too smart as a driver, and they're going to actually deactivate you because you're too smart. Usually that happens around 10K deliveries on DoorDash. I don't know if it happens that way on Uber Eats. Advance notice. When possible, we'll let a driver or delivery person know if they're at risk of losing access to their account. However, there are times when we may need to remove access without warning, such as when we receive reports or information that require immediate review for legal or safety reasons. We conclude that a driver or delivery person has engaged in unlawful or fraudulent behavior. So if it's something like ratings or something that's less serious, they'll give you a heads up. But if it's something more along the lines of fraud or something that is a legal issue overall, they'll just cut you off. However, if it is the latter, then I sincerely doubt you're getting reactivated. Why losing access happens and what to do. The most common reasons why a driver or delivery person might lose access to their account are an expired document or an issue with their background check. Others are usually due to safety issues, fraud, discrimination by the driver or delivery person, or persistently low ratings from riders or Uber Eats users. Okay, so let's go over each of those reasons really quick. Expired document, this is your insurance and stuff like that. Keep that stuff up to date. Don't let that be the stupid reason you get deactivated, okay? Background check issues. Look, let's be realistic. If you got something going on in your background check, that's not good for anybody. Fraud, discrimination, safety issues like, again, if you're the reason that there are safety issues, then you should be deactivated. Fraud, renting out accounts falls under the category of fraud, among other things. Don't be that guy. And don't give your password to anybody either. Support doesn't contact you for that, because not only can you lose money, you can lose your account. Discrimination by the driver or delivery person. Let's be realistic for a second. We're more discriminated against than we are discriminating. But that also said, chances of that being the case are not as high as you'd think. Persistently low ratings from riders or Uber Eats users. If your ratings are the reason you can be deactivated, then I don't know what to tell you, man. You really need to fix your stuff. And not to mention, if you're a delivery driver and you're getting consistently low ratings from merchants, you got bigger issues. Often when drivers and delivery people lose access to their account, it's temporary while we investigate the report or review documents, or while they resolve an issue related to account eligibility, such as an expired driver's license or ineligible vehicle. So if it's like a documentation issue, right? An expired license, insurance, vehicle, then you have time to fix it. If you got deactivated for other reasons, it may not actually be the case. But if it's like, okay, my insurance card expired and I didn't update it myself, you will actually get deactivated for that. We understand losing access, even temporarily, can be disruptive, so we're dedicated to reviewing each report fairly and promptly if access to an account is lost, and there are steps to take and regain it. We'll include them in the message we send to the driver or delivery person. In addition, they can always contact customer support team here for help. The most common issue that I have is with my insurance, because every 6 months it expires, so I gotta update it. But again, they also make a very good point, like every week or so, even like every day, up until the insurance is actually active, to actually send them a picture of the insurance card. And also, you could take a screenshot from the app and you could use that as well. Background check issues. All drivers and delivery people must agree to regular screenings, which include evaluating their motor vehicle records and criminal history. The exact eligibility criteria differs depending on what city they're signing up in, largely based on the laws that apply to their city or state. In general, the following may be reasons for losing access to a driver or delivery account: felony conviction in the last 7 years, serious criminal convictions including S assault, S crimes against children, unaliving, homicide, terrorism, human trafficking, and kidnapping at any time in the driver's or delivery person's history, any serious criminal charges that are still pending, multiple moving violations or accidents in the last 3 years, driving with a suspended license within the last 3 years, any serious driving violations such as DUI, reckless driving, or hit and run in the last 7 years. An account may be kept on hold while the background check is being run, depending on when the driver or delivery person last completed one. Okay, let's be absolutely honest with all of the things that are being said here. If you're in the category of serious criminal charges, you're lucky to be on the platform at all. I'm not even saying that to be mean. I'm not saying that because I have a thing against criminals. I actually couldn't care less what you did in your past. I care more about where you're going. But the reality is that not everybody feels that way, and safety is an important factor on these platforms, so these companies are making points to make sure, at least on their ends, that they're protected. What about the moving violations, or driving with a suspended license, or driving violations such as a DUI, reckless driving, hit and run within the last 7 years? If you got hit with any of those, why are you even considering Uber or Uber Eats? Let's be realistic. I feel like anybody who's ever been hit with those things shouldn't even be considering jobs that require a large amount of driving to begin with. One of the main reasons I would never take drugs or do alcohol is because I wouldn't want the idea of my driving to be impaired to ever be a reason I lose access to these accounts. Not even for the health disadvantages or anything like that. I just don't want that. Examples of common missteps: not consenting to running background checks, not responding to requests from the background check provider for additional information, not disputing incorrect information on the report with the background check provider, who will email directions for how to dispute. Okay, so let's talk about that last one for a second. If there is something on your report that is incorrect, dispute it. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what other people say about me. That's not who I am. That's gonna affect your ability to get a job, to be in business for yourself, to be a part of these contracts. Your opportunities are gonna drop like rocks. You better freaking not, man. Don't let that be the reason that you get deactivated, okay? Expired documents. To use the driver app or keep an account active, the driver or delivery person must upload the required documents and make sure they're always current and unexpired. We went over this already, but this is like your driver's license, your insurance, the registration of your vehicle, things like that. Safety issues. Real-time ID check errors. The real-time photo that drivers and delivery people take before going online must match their profile photo. Examples of common missteps: letting someone other than the driver or delivery person take a selfie using their driver account. Basically, don't rent out your account. Sharing an account with someone else. Don't rent out your account. Submitting a photo of a photo. Don't rent out your account. Not taking a clear, well-lit photo that aligns face and neck in the in-app frame provided. So when you actually take a selfie, you're gonna have your face and neck actually line up within the selfie photo and then take the picture. Also means the angle of which the light is shining, not just the fact that it's daylight. So if you need to get a better position or change the direction in which you're actually taking the selfie, that's important too. Not updating the profile photo if the driver or delivery person's appearance has changed. The amount of stories I hear about people growing a beard or losing a lot of weight or gaining weight, and that's the reason they lose their account, is absurdly high. So make sure you update your profile photo if your appearance is different than what it once was. Dangerous driving. This includes reports that the driver or delivery person has had a crash or traffic citation during a trip or delivery, or repeated reports of poor, unsafe, or distracted driving while using the driver app. In other words, drive safely when on Uber. Impaired or drowsy driving. This includes reports that a driver or delivery person is suspected of driving while drowsy or under the influence of alcohol, cannabis, or illegal drugs or over-the-counter or prescription drugs that should not be used while operating a motor vehicle. It also includes reports of having drugs and or open containers of alcohol in the car, smells of alcohol or drugs, even if left by riders, can be interpreted as impairment and also lead to such reports. Okay, so there's a lot of things going on over there, so let's go over each of those things. First of all, don't do those things while you're working. And in my opinion, not at all, but I'll leave that to your discretion. If a rider leaves something in your car, that's on you because it's in your vehicle at that point. That's why, in my opinion, I wouldn't do rideshare because I don't want other people bringing things into my vehicle and then that's on me. Especially if it's late at night and you know what I'm talking about. Now, in terms of drowsy driving, if you're anything like me, you have a tendency to overwork yourself to the point of which you know that you're gonna end up driving like this. And that's not good for anybody. So if you're too tired to drive, don't drive. It's really that simple. Altercations and harassing. Exhibiting aggressive, confrontational, or harassing behavior. This includes using language, making gestures, or taking actions that could be disrespectful, threatening, or inappropriate. Sharing graphic images that are sexually explicit or depict physical violence with others in the Uber community, including unsolicited sharing of images through Uber's online support systems or in connection with an Uber platform experience. Okay, so if you're having an altercation with a customer, I don't know what you're doing, man. You're asking to get deactivated. If every other word coming out of your mouth is a curse word, that's a problem. You shouldn't be doing that. And sharing images that are explicit or violent in nature. Why? Like, there's a video that I made a while back that was about a woman who shared a picture of her private parts by accident. And I'm saying, how do you even make that mistake? Either way, you just don't do those things. That could get you deactivated. S misconduct or assault. Any kind of S harassment, which includes S assault and S misconduct by anyone, including drivers, delivery people, riders, Uber Eats users, and third parties, is not allowed while using Uber apps, and in some cases may also be illegal. S assault is physical or attempted physical conduct that is S and done without consent, such as touching, kissing, or S. S misconduct includes non-physical behavior that is S or romantic and done without consent, or has the effect of threatening or intimidating someone. Uber's no S rule prohibits the S contact regardless of whether the driver or delivery person knows the other person or receives their consent. Uber's driving change program offers resources from partners like Rain and No More that provide information about safe and respectful interactions. I think it's obvious enough to say, don't do that. Deactivations on other platforms. As part of the industry sharing safety program, Uber and other participating companies will share account information through Hire Right Inc. for drivers and delivery people deactivated for the most serious safety incidents, including S assault and physical assault fatalities. These types of incidents are very rare on Uber's platform, so the vast majority of drivers will not be affected. This program is designed to improve safety across the entire ride-sharing industry. Okay, so that might have been a red flag for a lot of you, but let me be absolutely clear. Deactivations from other platforms will only apply if the reason that you got deactivated was very serious. S harassment or DUI or something really messed up that would actually be like, okay, maybe this person shouldn't be on any platform. That would actually get you deactivated. But what about if it's just, okay, DoorDash deactivated me because they don't like the way I look or whatever? Don't worry about that. That's not going to affect your Uber account. The use of unapproved vehicles. Only vehicles or other modes of transportation associated with the driver or delivery person's profile that meet their city's minimum requirements are acceptable. Examples of common missteps: not providing updated vehicle information to Uber, using a vehicle to complete delivery trips if signed up to Uber while biking or walking. A lot of people do the latter here. A lot of people who have bike accounts and drive everywhere do that because they are trying to save on the mileage and they're trying to get large orders with short distances. Don't do that. It's not okay. And also, if you get a new vehicle, why wouldn't you just tell them, like, come on. Unsafe vehicles. This includes not maintaining a vehicle according to the industry and safety maintenance standards. For example, not keeping brakes, seatbelts, and tires in good operating condition, disregarding recalls, and ignoring dashboard warning lights. So, in other words, maintain your vehicle because it's the tool that's going to move your life forward. Don't be that guy to ignore the check engine light. Fraudulent documents. Altered or false documents are not allowed. Examples of common missteps: submitting photocopy scanned documents or photos of photos rather than original copies. Physical or digitally altering documents such as crossouts, whiteouts, unnecessary handwriting, and photoshopped documents. Submitting phone screenshots of documents. Submitting a document that is not entirely visible and clear. Submitting phone screenshots of documents. I have done that because that is what my app provided, but I didn't alter it. I didn't do anything bad to it. It was literally a screenshot of the document that was already in my app and was fully visible by the one screenshot, and I sent it to them. That is what I did, and they were totally fine with it. But let's say it's like a driver's license or vehicle registration. Take the photo. Don't play the stupid game and win stupid prizes by making changes to the thing to make it seem like the expiration date is not tomorrow or something. Make sure all of your documentation is up to date and take the photos accordingly. If that's the reason you get deactivated, I don't know how to help you, man. Like, that's something you should have done yourself. Identity fraud. This includes a driver or delivery person falsifying information, assuming someone else's identity, sharing an account with someone else, submitting personal documents that don't belong to them, or attempting to bypass identity verification checks. Examples of common missteps: not ensuring that full legal name and date of birth, the social security number, and other account information is submitted to Uber is accurate, a driver or delivery person representing themselves as someone they are not, submitting documents that don't belong to them and that are not permitted to use, sharing their account with someone else. In other words, don't rent your account. Fraudulent duplicate account. Creating improper duplicate accounts is not allowed. If a driver or delivery person has an issue with signing into or going online to their account, they should contact support rather than creating a duplicate account. There are people that actually run multiple Uber accounts, and there are people that got away with it in the past. Uber doesn't okay it, and let's say you got deactivated and you try it again. I just don't recommend that, man. Why would you do that to yourself? Financial fraud. Fraudulent activity includes increasing the time or distance of a trip on purpose, abusing fees and promotions, and requesting a cleaning reimbursement for a mess that didn't happen. Examples of common missteps: not providing clear photos, the receipt from the cleaning, and the accurate trip details when submitting a cleaning fee claim. Encouraging riders to cancel a trip for fraudulent purposes, increasing the time or distance of a trip on purpose, submitting false claims or fees or refunds, or abusing offers and promotions. Going along with riders or Uber Eats users who call before a trip and ask the driver or delivery person to do things that are against Uber's community guidelines. In terms of the cleaning stuff and the cleaning fees, that's mainly for rideshare drivers. You know how to deal with that. That's on you. Encouraging riders to cancel a trip for fraudulent purposes. If you're the kind of person that is going to be like, hey, I'll do this for a cash offer, let's cut Uber out of the deal and let's make this between us. Don't do that. They have deactivated people for less. Come on. Increasing the time or distance of a trip on purpose. If the customer is like, hey, this isn't actually where I wanted to go. Can you take me to the other Starbucks, or can you take me further down the road? They're trying to scam you, and that's gonna hurt you in the end. So take them to where the app is telling you to go. That's it. If they decide to rate you badly for that, it's better to take the L than to work with a customer that does that. Submitting false claims for fees or refunds, or abusing offers and promotions. Don't game the system. And if the rider is trying to scam the system and you're going along with it on Uber Eats or Uber Rideshare, just don't. Discrimination and service denial. A driver or delivery person can lose access to their account for discriminating or making offensive remarks on the basis of race, color, disability, gender identity, marital status, pregnancy, national origin, age, religion, SS orientation, or any other characteristic protected under relevant law. Refusing or canceling a trip or delivery on a basis of a rider's destination or a customer's delivery location. Refusing or canceling trips for riders because they're service animals, wheelchairs, or other assistive devices. Discrimination is not okay under any circumstances. Let's go over a couple things that are being said here that need to be addressed further. Let's say the customer is being that way to you. Not only do you have to report them, this is actually a good reason to why you need a dash cam. Because you need to protect yourself from those people, in my opinion, for the purposes of rideshare. Let's say someone gets in your car and they're notating something about your gender, or your race, or your sexuality, or whatever, or your national origin, and you refuse to work with that person for any reason. Not worth it, man. Just don't. You shouldn't work with people like that, because not only can that lead to your account being deactivated, that could lead to bad ratings and just an overall bad time in general. In my opinion, your best bet is to cancel the ride and make sure that that report is straight to Uber support, so that way you don't get paired with that rider again. Examples of common missteps: denying service animals. Various state and federal laws prohibit denying any riders on the basis of their service animals. Therefore, allergies, religious objections, or a generalized fear of animals are not legitimate reasons to deny a service animal. Okay, this is where I'm like, alright, you're pushing an envelope you shouldn't be pushing. The health of a driver is a reason for them to get deactivated? Are you out of your freaking mind? Refusing to help fit wheelchairs or other assistive devices like walkers in the car. These devices can be folded or disassembled to fit in the trunk. Making negative comments about someone's personal characteristics, such as race, color, disability, gender identity, marital status, pregnancy, national origin, age, religion, S orientation. If you got something bad to say, keep it to yourself. But seriously, these missteps are exactly why I wouldn't do rideshare, because they don't even care about your health at the end of the day. Rating quality. A driver or delivery person can lose access to part or all of the Uber platform for ratings that are below the minimum average rating for their city. If their rating is approaching the minimum limit, we will let them know and may share that information that may help them improve their rating from users, customers, or restaurants. Keep your ratings up. If you're getting a lot of bad ratings, reevaluate what you're doing and just don't do them. Delivery-related reasons for loss of account access. A few reasons apply only to delivery people, including those listed below. Cancellation abuse. A delivery person has the right to decline any delivery opportunity offered to them. However, accepting delivery requests without intending to complete a delivery and canceling an unusually high number of deliveries are considered fraud. Examples of common missteps: not completing a delivery after picking up the order and before arriving at the drop-off. If a delivery person is unable to complete a delivery due to issues that arise, such as flat tire, they can contact support for help. Not checking for delivery details that the customer may have left in the app, such as directions, or not trying to contact the customer using the app if needed. Okay, so I actually made a video on canceling orders on Uber Eats. I'll leave that in the description. Feel free to check that out. Food theft. If a delivery person marks trips complete without having made a delivery or cancels trips after picking up the food and before starting a trip to the drop-off location, this is considered to be suspected food theft. Examples of common missteps: marking a trip as delivered without reaching the customer's location and delivering the order. Canceling a trip before starting the delivery to the drop-off location without leaving the order at the restaurant for the next delivery person to pick up. So in other words, don't steal other people's food. Time on trip fraud. This includes a pattern of frequent delayed trips taking much longer than expected according to GPS estimates, and duration of other deliveries in the delivery person's city. Delays in marking an order as delivered after drop-off for illegitimate reasons may also be considered fraud. Examples of common missteps: accepting delivery requests before being ready to leave for the restaurant, marking the order as delivered in the driver app well after the delivery person has delivered the food. If they encounter connectivity or app issues, they can call support to end the delivery for them. So if you're one of those drivers that are multi-apping in a way that's not okay, or trying to do something with the food that you shouldn't be doing, or let's say the order is just taking forever, maybe that's a good reason to unassign. The excessive wait time. I actually just had to unassign an order recently for excessive wait time. They wanted me to wait 20 minutes for an order while they had parking that was not really parking, if you know what I mean. Like, I had to make my own parking spot, and parking popo was on my bootang, and I had to unassign because they were gonna take too long. Now, that being said, this isn't gonna happen for one time it happens. It's gonna happen if it happens very frequently. So if it's that one time that one customer decided to be a piece of crap, "I'm sorry, I was in the shower and couldn't provide the gate code to you," was really disrespectful. That's not gonna get you deactivated, but the frequency of things like that happening may do so. Now, they also leave a link to the Uber Eats delivery guidelines. This page is going to be in the description, so if you actually want to look into that, feel free to do so. Now, I have a few side notes that I would like to go over as well. Lawyers suck. Now, I haven't been deactivated on Uber Eats, but I have been deactivated on DoorDash, and I've tried to go to a lawyer to help me out. I've tried legal rideshare to help write a a letter. They were helpful-ish, but they weren't helpful. I've tried another lawyer. They just sucked. Most lawyers aren't equipped to deal with these people anyway, because we're 1099 independent contractors as opposed to W-2, and most of us are on arbitration agreements, which leads me to my next point: opt out of arbitration. Seriously, in your first 30 days, if you see terms of service and they update it and you agree to it, opt out of arbitration every single time. The last thing you want to do is go through an arbitrator to get this done, because they're not going to always help you, because the arbitrator is provided by Uber and is paid by Uber to actually get something done. Tell me the verdict has already been made without telling me the verdict has already been made. Providing proof doesn't always help. If Uber wants you gone, you're gone. That's it. It doesn't matter if you have all of the proof in the world that the reason you were deactivated wasn't your fault. They're not gonna help you at the end of the day. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't provide evidence to why you're innocent. That's why you have a dash cam and a body cam, to protect yourself and have recordings of what took place. Because if a customer claims you were racist and you were actually being discriminated against, not being discriminating, that's why you need that kind of equipment, you know? Inactivity deactivation. Now, let's say you were on Uber Eats or Uber and you haven't been driving for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. It is actually possible that you were deactivated for that reason. You can get your account reactivated, but you would actually have to contact them and they can actually help you with that. But you gotta hope that there's enough room for you and you're not going back on a wait list. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you keep it relatively active enough so that way you maintain the account if you need it. Qualified improvement courses. Now, let's say you got deactivated for ratings reasons, or your account is under review for poor ratings, right? You can actually ask them to provide quality improvement courses, which, according to Uber, will help you as an Uber driver be more effective and dependable, and is specifically made for imperfect drivers. Typically, they cost less than $100, and you could take them both in person and online. Honestly, if your ratings are so bad to where you gotta take courses, you got problems, I think you should actually take those courses. But seriously, you shouldn't have to have that problem, to be honest. Mass deactivations. If there's a point in time where Uber is mass deactivating people, usually this happens in March or April, March, April, May, where they're trying to maintain order flow for summer people who aren't getting as many orders, or towards September, October, where they're trying to get rid of good drivers so that way they can make room for bad ones, so that way the holidays roll in and people aren't so financially able to tip their drivers or whatever. A lot of drivers are gonna just be deactivated, and that's gonna be based on what they believe is right, and whatever that may be. They're not gonna really give you a reason, or the reason's gonna be such BS and so vague that you're not gonna be able to fight it anyway, because you have no idea what they're talking about. Again, if you have that situation, contact Legal Rideshare. Hopefully they can at least help you figure out the reason why. Hopefully you could talk to a lawyer that's a little bit more suited for this. I know Uber specifically, there are lawyers for them. DoorDash, not so much. Uber, yes. But that being said, if you get deactivated through a mass deactivation, I am so sorry. Cherry picking keeps you safe. I'm gonna say this because I feel it needs to be said. Cherry picking keeps you safe because you're not working with bad customers. The people who don't tip also give the worst ratings. They cause unnecessary contract violations and just overall make your life harder. People who are good quality tippers, good quality people, you know what they do? They make sure they tip you, and they leave good ratings, or they don't rate you at all. When Para was actually a main thing for Uber and DoorDash and every other gig app, and it kind of still is, one of the things people noticed as they had more tip transparency and they were taking better tippers, the better customers you're dealing with in terms of tips, the better ratings you will receive. So keep in mind, there's more than one reason you cherry pick. Did I miss anything. Is there anything else about Uber and Uber Eats deactivations and potential reactivations that I did not cover in this video? Let me know in the comments. Let's make sure that everybody who has been or is concerned about getting deactivated or wants to get reactivated can do so and has all of the tools and resources they need in order to accomplish such a thing. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!